Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul Diebold. I'm a board member of the Irvington Historical Society, and we're here this morning, since everyone's cooped up in their houses. I'm going to give you a tour and some historical information about the Bona Thompson Center. Probably a lot of you have seen this wonderful building here in Irvington. I'm just going to kind of turn the camera around here, let you have a look at it. Try to step back a little bit here so you can take it all in. I think probably a lot of you have seen this building and wondered, what is this place? This building was built, completed in 1903. The cornerstone was laid in 1901. And this was Butler University's library when Butler was here in Irvington. And this is really one of the few buildings left. There's a building back behind this one that was nominally part of the Butler campus. So let's talk about the outside for just a little bit. It's quite magnificent. As you can see, this is what we would call Neoclassical Revival in style. You can see the Greek Ionic columns on the front. This was a new thing. This building was very ahead of its time. If you've ever read the book Devil in the White City, it talks about the Columbian Exposition of 1893 and about the incredible architecture and the millions of people that saw that building, that saw that complex rather. Those people went back to their home states, home cities, and they wanted to emulate that beautiful architecture, that grandeur. And that's where the style of buildings like this really came from. This was really a first of its kind for its style. So if you think about the buildings downtown, you have the old Federal Building, which is much like this. It's actually a few years later than this building. The Public Library Building, again, about a decade later than this building. Our old City Hall, which was the State Museum for a while and now is back in the hands of the city of Indianapolis and used for various functions. That wonderful limestone building, classical in style, it dates to about 1910. So this was way ahead of the curve, and it was very remarkable in other ways as well. So again, let's just kind of soak in the architecture here. By the way, those columns are monolithic, meaning that is one piece of limestone making those columns right there. One piece of limestone turned on a giant lathe so it can be circular in form and shaped properly like a column so that it's tapered from top to bottom. So there are some other secrets about this building that we'll find out later. Any great historic building has secrets. But I want you to think about one thing. 1903. So that means this building is 117 years old. And think of the things that it endured. The First World War, the Spanish influenza, the Second World War, the Depression, the Korean War, all these things. This building just shrugged them off and has lasted for the ages. And we will too. Let's go inside. Now I'm going to pan this down. Hopefully, yes, there you go. This is some of the beautiful mosaic tile work. This is original to the 1903 construction. And if you're familiar with Butler University's seal, this is Butler University's seal as it was at that time. Right now, they simply use the flame from the lamp of knowledge, but that is the Holy Bible on the lamp of knowledge right there. I'm just going to pan the camera. And here we go to the central seal, a book with quill pens, a laurel wreath, which means victory. So it's kind of like the victory of knowledge or something of that sort is what's being displayed here. This was all hand done. And you will see there's these various patterns. This is called a fretwork border here. That comes from Greek and Roman architecture. If you look carefully, there are a few mistakes, but you'll have to come in and find them for yourself at some point when we reopen, and we will reopen. Now, if we pan up for a moment, look at the beautiful vaulting in this building. This actually had been removed. It was part of the original architectural style of the building. The idea is when you came in a building that was a library, the architect wanted you to realize you're going to learn important things, vital things to yourself and to your culture when you come in a place like this. And I think that pretty much says it right there, don't you? Here's a few things over here that are very interesting. Here's what some of the rooms looked like in the building when Butler was using it as a library. By the way, this was also Irvington's first branch library building when it was opened, right at the time of annexation of Irvington to Indianapolis is when this building was opened. So it was the first branch library for about 10 years, and then a facility was bought up on Washington Street. So this was probably almost as grand as the main library was when this was serving as a branch library. And here's one of the reading rooms. So this was divided, the central foyer, and then these two large reading rooms. And you can see the giant windows. Now, what's the reason for such, if you're an architect today, you're probably looking at this building and saying, why is all this space wasted? It's really not wasted. The library windows admitted light that would come down over your shoulder onto the reading surface. And even on a dark day, I could turn the lights off in this room. You'd be able to read the fine print in the New York Times in this room with just the natural light. Did this building have electric lights? Yes, it did. Butler did have its own electric plant. There were electric lights. And if you recall looking at the picture I just showed you, there was task lighting, sort of bankers' desk lights on the tables, so that the electric light was used to supplement the natural light. Electric lighting couldn't be as powerful as it can today. There wasn't fluorescent lighting. There were dim incandescent lights. So they augmented it with the natural light. We're going to walk over here here's the other reading room. I'll show you another thing here. If we look down at the floor, hopefully we can see that. There's a curved part in the concrete floor. That was where a desk used to be. So the central desk in the foyer that we were just in actually had wings that came out and curved into these different rooms, so a librarian could remain in one place and serve you bringing books or periodicals. This was the periodical room to the south. That was the main reading room to the north there. And so this was a work efficiency concept of centralizing the workplace for the librarians and reducing the number of steps that they would have to take. So right here on the floor here, I'm going to show you something. This is the scar where the main desk used to be. There was a counter here. And back here, back in these rooms, that's where the stacks were. So this was a closed stack library, unlike a modern library where you simply would go in, take the book that you want, take it to the counter, check it out. Here you would ask the librarian, you would say something like, I want to know about the Roman Republic. They would go back, find some books for you, or bring to you some things from the card catalog and say, are you interested in these? And bring them to you, check them out to you. By the way, here's what the markers look like on the books. Received June 1924. That's a big overdue fee for somebody. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up now. We're going to go back outside. Okay, walking back down the steps. I hope you enjoyed this. The next time, maybe we'll see some of the secrets of this building. It has some great secrets. And everybody carry on as best you can. We'll shoulder through this together. Irvington's a great place. Indiana's a great state. We're going to make it. Hang in there.